This is Dauphin, Manitoba, a community of 8,000 coming together in grief and sadness. 15 people were killed just down the highway in a bus trip gone terribly wrong. Tonight, The National is in Dauphin with extensive coverage of the tragedy in Manitoba.
It's just devastating.
The lives lost, friends, neighbors, loved ones, and those now fighting for their lives.
These injuries are quite significant.
The echoes of another Canadian highway tragedy.
Your life will never be the same.
And that overwhelming question, how could this happen?
This is The National with Ian Hannamansing in Dauphin, Manitoba.
Well, here in Dauphin, Manitoba, flags are at half-mast. A city sign displays the message, Dauphin Strong, in the wake of one of Canada's worst road tragedies. We are here tonight outside the rec centre, now a place for people to gather for grief counselling. 15 people lost their lives. Police still haven't officially confirmed their names. The bus was taking mainly seniors from Dauphin and the surrounding area on a day trip to a casino when it collided with a semi-truck at a highway intersection about 180 kilometers south of here. Police now say the truck did have the right-of-way. The bus consumed by fire after the crash. Among the debris strewn across the road, walkers and wheelchairs. We'll take you to the crash scene in a moment, but we begin here in Dauphin, where Sam Sampson shows us how the community is coping.
Eileen Smelsky came to her garden for a break between phone calls the day of the crash.
We must have got, I'm going to say, 40, 50 phone calls if we were on that bus, because everybody knows that we've been going on bus trips right across Canada, from my cousin in Nova Scotia to his brother from BC.
Smelsky planned to go to the casino the day before with her friend Josephine Stuckatelny, but Stuckatelny got a seat on the seniors bus, so she went with the group instead.
Bubbly, bubbly. She has a lot of energy for her age. Church, everything she's involved in.
Stuckatelny is in hospital. Smelsky had other friends who were killed.
It's a Dauphin bus, and we all know people that are gone. It was a full bus. Today, bingo was very, very small.
B7.
Seniors' bus trips to casinos paused over COVID, so this one was popular. The bus was sold out.
They were happy to head off that morning. I spoke to a number of the people going on the bus, and they were excited and to have a nice day away. And then tragedy.
B2.
Some on the bus were senior center volunteers, but this place won't close its doors.
And people can gather here, they can talk, they can be with other people when they might feel alone.
Residents say the bus made several pickups at different spots in Dauphin, including just outside the senior center. It's where some passengers dropped off their cars. Now, they won't be coming back.
It's never an easy process responding to these.
Those who show up to emergencies while others shy away are shaken.
Especially the smaller departments. You know, it's nobody signed up for an incident such as this. The fire departments that responded to the incident are not career, and I personally know many of those that were on scene, and really my thoughts are with them right now, along with the families of those that grieve and the families that their loved ones are still in hospital.
Sam, you know this area really well. You've been to Dauphin many times. How is it different today?
Yeah, I'm from Manitoba, so I know this city pretty well. And normally this is kind of prime time for Dauphin. We're just weeks away from the biggest country music festival in the province, and so it's a busy time. It's exciting who's going to be in the lineup. And talking to people just driving around, going to different shops today, there is this layer of grief that everybody's feeling, and it just feels a little bit off. It's not normal. It's not the Dauphin I know. And so I think that shows the slow movement to understanding the magnitude and coming to terms with the magnitude of it. As well, we have to keep in mind a lot of the passengers on the bus were active community members. And so things like Father's Day this weekend, church in a couple days, that is when I think the community will really feel the loss.
All right, Sam, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The crash happened about 2 hours south of here, where Highway 5 crosses the Trans-Canada near Carberry. And that's where the investigation has been focused. It's also where Erin Collins is tonight, and Erin, that highway is now open, but the signs of what happened remain.
Yeah, Ian, this intersection, it's ground zero for one of the deadliest crashes in Canadian history. It's also where a massive investigation into how the unthinkable happened here. A crash so devastating it left a scar visible from the air. But on the ground, from the skid marks on the road and a stop sign mowed down to the scorched grass in the ditch, this busy stretch of highway provides clues to the tragedy that unfolded here. Police say the tractor trailer was heading east on Highway 1, the Trans-Canada, as the bus was going south on Highway 5. It would have encountered a stop sign here. The bus successfully crossed the westbound lanes to the median. At that point, there's a yield sign. As the bus went through it and was crossing the eastbound lanes, it was struck by the tractor trailer. The debris from that impact gone now, key to understanding this crash.
Both vehicles are going to undergo a very extensive analysis, mechanical analysis, and we have certain tools and techniques that we can hopefully gather that information.
Police have recovered dash cam video from the truck and say it shows the semi had the right of way. Investigators are taking a long look at whether this busy intersection is a crime scene.
At this time, we don't know. We don't know why the bus proceeded into the lane there. That is something that we're going to continue to look into, though.
Getting those answers will take time, likely months. Police say they've not spoken to the injured bus driver yet and that they're not laying blame. But truck drivers who frequent this intersection may be able to provide insight.
It's dangerous. People, it's a busy highway, two busy highways connecting, and if people aren't paying attention and they pull out in traffic that's running highway speed, legal speed, then you have nowhere to go. I've had close calls there myself.
Traffic is bustling again along this part of the Trans-Canada. Work underway to keep things moving here safely.
And Erin, you spent the day at the crash site. What's it been like there?
Ian, it's busy. Really busy. If you look behind me, you can see those east and westbound lanes of the Trans-Canada Highway. They've been buzzing all day long. And I can tell you, Ian, that in about 10 years, between 2012 and 2021, there were 22 accidents at this intersection alone.
All right, Erin Collins, thank you. Many of the survivors of the crash are in critical condition, facing extensive injuries and potentially long recoveries. Cameron McIntosh joins us from the hospital in Winnipeg, where many are being treated.
Ian, the Health Sciences Centre here in Winnipeg is Manitoba's largest and most advanced hospital and trauma centre. This is where 9 out of the 10 survivors were brought yesterday by ambulance and by air.
These are quite extensive injuries.
After warnings the number of deaths could climb, Dr. Sean Young, CEO of Winnipeg's Health Sciences Centre, says the 10 survivors from the bus remain in hospital.
Like I said, 6 of them are in critical care, receiving life-saving support.
All the people on the bus ranged in age from 58 to 88. In the wreckage, walkers and wheelchairs were clearly seen. 6 women and 4 men survived.
Many of the individuals were thrown from the handy bus. They're related to orthopedic injuries. They're serious injuries.
RCMP say all the survivors have been identified.
Anyone else who was on this bus is presumed now to be deceased.
The reason we have to undertake scientific means of investigation or of identification is that most, if not all, of the deceased have significant facial trauma. So identifying them visually is not possible.
Health officials are calling this the largest emergency response in modern Manitoba history. More than a dozen ambulances, dozens of first responders, and 4 aircraft. There are clear similarities to the 2018 Humboldt Broncos tragedy, where 16 people died in a collision between a semi-trailer and a bus. Health experts who dealt with that are being consulted here.
We learned a great deal about how to unfortunately respond to these types of emergencies.
Right now, everybody's in shock. And I think that the grief process hasn't even really started yet.
This emergency response consultant says, like Humboldt, this is a community-wide loss. Mental health support will be essential.
This is not something that's going to be done in a few days. This is going to be weeks and months. And if you look at Humboldt, it was years.
So, Cam, among those 10 patients is the driver of the bus. What do we know about his condition and whether police have had a chance to talk to him?
Police tell us they haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, that their main concern for him is simply his survival. Should also mention that the driver of the semi was taken to hospital yesterday but was quickly released. Police plan to talk to him later this weekend. As for mental health supports, those have been put in place here at the hospital for family members and community members that are here, as they have also been put in place in Dauphin. And the police are also talking about mental health here. The commissioner of the RCMP that spoke today saying he's concerned for the mental health of some of his members, saying that this could be career and life altering for some of the officers that have been involved in this.
Cameron McIntosh reporting from Winnipeg tonight. The Prime Minister has offered his condolences today. Justin Trudeau saying that he is thinking about the families who have lost loved ones and of those who survived.
I think of the people who are in hospital now with injuries. I can't imagine what these families are going through.
The flag on top of Ottawa's Peace Tower was flown at half-mast today to honor the victims. As Cameron mentioned, when this tragedy struck, it had so many parallels to Humboldt. And tonight, we're going to take a look at that experience and how people in Humboldt are reaching out to help.
Our phone is on 24 hours a day to make sure that they have all the support that they can get or need.
We'll have that story a little later, and we'll also hear from the mayor of Dauphin about how this community is coping. Tonight, police in BC are investigating another bus crash, this one carrying 30 pipeline workers. It happened in the north near the community of Mackenzie, about 180 kilometers away from Prince George. 18 people were sent to the city's only hospital, putting it into a code orange earlier, a response reserved for natural disasters and mass casualty events. Most of the injured are now in stable condition. Police say the cause of the crash is unclear. With hundreds still missing following the boat tragedy off the coast of Greece, loved ones of the victims are rushing to the country. Our Megan Williams is also in Greece, where amid overwhelming grief, there are some glimmers of hope.
An older brother recognizes his teenage sibling among the 100 or so rescued from the capsize. The trauma of his ordeal writ large on his face. Thank God you're safe, he says.
But for the dozens of relatives of people on board that boat who are coming here to Kalamata today to find out their fate, the news hasn't been as good.
This man flew here from Barcelona when he learned through social media his brother was among them. When he showed survivors a photo of his brother, they told him he'd saved their lives, but couldn't save himself, he says. He says the survivors told him the Greek Coast Guard tossed bottled water toward them for 5 days, but did nothing to save them until the ship capsized, tipped by a rope attached to the Coast Guard boat, they say. Officials deny that's the cause of the tragedy. Greek authorities have arrested 9 people related to the capsize, and the head of the UN Refugee Agency called for more action.
What happened on Wednesday underscores the need to investigate people smugglers and human traffickers and ensure they are brought to justice.
A sentiment echoed here by those searching for survivors, like this Egyptian community leader with a list of dozens of young men to find from one village who lashed out at traffickers.
These people, they playing with the mind of the people and they playing with them future and with them life.
And the lives of their many loved ones who wait for news from the sea. Megan Williams, CBC News, Kalamata.
Let's turn now to the wildfires here in Canada. Tonight, there are more than 400 that are still burning. The majority are still in Quebec. Some 2,000 people forced from their homes are now being allowed back. And in British Columbia, officials are watching 2 major fires in the northeast, worried they could spread quickly due to high winds. On Vancouver Island, a key highway remains blocked due to a wildfire. As Susanna De Silva shows us, it's cutting off tourists to popular destinations at a crucial time of the season.
Twice a day, a government-organized convoy sets off from Port Alberni and disappears down the gravel road.
I just find that when you got 90 hairpins, and that if you're going fast, you just right off the road. And if you don't know how to properly drive and correct, you're in the ditch.
Several drivers already have. What should be just over an hour from Nanaimo to Port Alberni is now taking 4 extra hours along the logging road, adding danger and costs.
I used to do 2 trips in 8 hours. Now I'm doing 1 trip in almost 12 hours. It's quite a difference.
But the tough road is supposed to be for essential travel.
We kind of tried to keep going, business as usual. We realized that we weren't going to be able to keep brewing.
This grain only arrived here thanks to the kindness and small plane of another Vancouver Island brewery. Still, business driven by tourism is slow.
We were down like 30% just based on number of guests.
Further down the road in Tofino, the situation is even more dire. These streets should be packed with visitors.
New opportunity, want to launch a new business. It's not going to be without challenges.
The Ahousaht First Nation only launched this eco-tour company last month.
We've got some great promotions to encourage people that are local, throughout the West Coast, taking advantage of that.
Normally these are all filled with names.
This surf shop says they're doing about 10% of their normal business and laid off much of their staff.
Most of us are operating off about 16 weeks of profitability, so to lose 2 weeks right off the bat of our busy season can be devastating. For some people, it's close to a make it or break it scenario.
The province is saying it will be another week for a partial reopening of the highway, 1 month for it to be fully reopened, leaving some businesses crossing their fingers they can make it. Susanna De Silva, CBC News, Tofino.
Today, Canada reached a new population milestone at a near record pace. More than 40 million people now call this country home. To get there, the population grew by 2.7% in just 1 year. That is the largest annual increase since 1957. That was right in the middle of the baby boom. Now, the growth is being fueled by something very different. And as Thomas Dagala shows us, it comes with both costs and benefits.
With more people than ever before and millions on the way in the years ahead, Canada is growing faster than comparable countries. The population now 40 million and counting.
We should keep pushing for people to come to Canada and to dream the Canadian dream.
I'm excited for Canada.
Sometimes the other countries that are growing substantially don't have the space, and I think we need to learn from their mistakes.
Statistics Canada runs a real-time population clock, and Friday at 2:54 p.m. Eastern, the country reached the latest milestone.
We could hit the 50 million people by 2043. So that's only in 20 years from now.
Consider in the late 90s, new parents wondered whether their baby would be the 30 millionth Canadian.
Oh, yes, she is for sure.
Now it's not the birth rate, but immigration driving up the population, with a record 1 million newcomers landing last year. At this refugee center, they fear some resources are being stretched too thin.
We came, some of us, like me, 33 years ago as refugees, and we are giving a contribution to the society. That's how we have to welcome. We need to be equitable.
Already dealing with a shortage of homes, Canada saw housing starts last month drop to their lowest rate in 3 years. Combined with population growth, that can mean trouble.
The supply side of the housing market just simply cannot produce the amount of units to meet this level of demand. And the valve for all of this is higher house prices and higher rents.
Economists say newcomers are filling gaps in the labor market, and the housing crunch should be seen as a growing pain, though the supply may not meet the demand for some years yet. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
A warning tonight about the rise of denialism around unmarked graves and burial sites linked to residential schools. Kimberly Murray, the special interlocutor who's studying the issues, says the growing skepticism is harmful. She's calling for legal measures to stifle it. Murray noted the various challenges in securing records from the government and churches. Her interim report also calls for those sites to be protected from vandals and intruders. 3 years after the death of George Floyd, a scathing new report says Minneapolis police still show a clear pattern of racial discrimination that costs lives. Paul Hunter shows that something else persists, the searing anger over those needless deaths.
Those protests 3 years ago, born in fury, sparked by the death of this man, George Floyd, and the knee of this man, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, now imprisoned for Floyd's murder. Who can forget?
We found that the Minneapolis Police Department routinely uses excessive force.
Now a damning report after a 2-year federal study of that city's police practices, detailing broad, systemic, and blatantly racist use of force, deadly and otherwise.
MPD officers discharge firearms at people without assessing whether the person presents any threat, let alone a threat that would justify deadly force. We also found that MPD officers routinely disregard the safety of people in their custody. Our review found numerous incidents in which MPD officers responded to a person's statement that they could not breathe with the version of, "You can breathe, you're talking right now." The patterns and practices we observed made what happened to George Floyd possible.
It echoes years of complaints by the Minneapolis community. And while some policing changes have already been made there, the city has now agreed on federal oversight to ensure more follow.
We will change the narrative around policing in this city.
Say critics, the bigger problem is that racially motivated police brutality in the U.S. continues far beyond just Minneapolis.
Why we say the whole damn system is guilty as hell. We need a revolution and we need actual change because we are out here dying.
Said Garland, all of it's heartbreaking. George Floyd should be alive today, he said. This report a reminder why he and so many Americans like him are not. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Canada's Supreme Court has upheld an agreement that allows this country to send asylum seekers who enter through the United States back into the States. The deal is called the Safe Third Party Agreement. It stipulates refugees must seek asylum at the first country they arrive in. Advocacy groups in Canada say U.S. detention centers mistreat applicants, making the policy unconstitutional, but the court has now rejected that argument. Well, we have much more to come on the tragedy that has affected this community of Dauphin, Manitoba. And for many today, it's hard not to be thinking about another highway disaster in the prairies.
Anytime we hear the word semi involved in a mass casualty incident now, it takes our breath away.
How Humboldt, Saskatchewan is lending support. That's next. And later, a small piece of history saved from the flames.
That's how close we come, only 8 feet.
Kayla Hounsel brings us the story of the air crew who saved it and the family forever grateful. Plus, giving back to his community for more than 7 decades.
How old were you when you first started?
18.
The 90-year-old rolling up his sleeve one last time. We're back in 2.
I just broke down when I heard it. It's hard. It's very hard.
That is Glenn Coletta, the acting president of the Seniors Center here. He knew many of the victims, and like so many people in Dauphin, he is still searching for answers. And Superintendent Rob Lasson joins us from Winnipeg tonight. You have said, Superintendent, that the truck had the right of way when it collided with the bus, but that you're not ready to determine whether there was anything criminal that happened. What is it that your investigators have to answer before they can reach that determination?
So there's been a lot of great investigational work take place already, and as I stated earlier in the press conference, however, there's still lots of work to do. There's a number of things we have to look into in order to prove or disprove any criminal intent or criminal element here, and one of them is we have to take into account was there any health issues for both drivers? Was there the use of cell phones or any distracted driving? We're going to do a complete analysis of both vehicles, mechanical analysis. When I speak of that, I mean the braking system, the fuel system, acceleration, and things like that. So there's a number of things we have to look into And a number of those steps require investigative techniques such as judicial authorizations to attain that information. So it's going to be a little bit of a while, and there's a lot of work ahead of us for the investigation.
The truck driver is out of hospital. There is a video from the truck. What about the bus driver? Any sense as to when you're going to get to speak to him?
The bus driver is still being treated in hospital. So the RCMP's intention is not to approach or interview him to cause him any undue stress. Our primary concern is for his well-being and recovery right now.
It's been another incredibly difficult day for so many people. The families that received the notifications that their next of kin have died in this accident. Also, though, as you pointed out, for your officers that gave that notification, give us a sense of what kind of day it's been.
So as I iterated earlier, this is one of the hardest things that a police officer can do, is to tell a family member that they've lost someone tragically like this. Very difficult, and these types of things stick with an officer for the rest of their career, and quite frankly, for the rest of their life. And what I do want to say is this is very hard on the RCMP, and we do have things in place where we put things into place to take care of our members, whether through employee wellness, peer-to-peer advisors, et cetera, critical incident debriefings. But what I do want to say is, you know, the RCMP is part of the community of Dauphin, and we live in these communities, and we are grieving as well. So forming that community bond and partnerships in the community helps the police as well. And I want to extend our thank you to the community for their patience and support through this for our members.
We have just a few seconds left, but I mean, things have moved so quickly so far in this investigation. When do you think it will be completed? When will people know whether, for example, a crime was committed here?
It's hard to put an exact timeline on that. I wish I had the answers for that right now, but the investigators are diligently working as fast as they can, but we have to be thorough and accurate, so we don't want to rush this, because we want to give very accurate, concrete answers so we can provide that meaningful information to the families. So it won't be rushed, and I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that right now.
Well, I appreciate the answers that you have given us, Superintendent Laston. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The scope of the loss from this crash is hard for residents here to put into words.
It's touched everyone, like old, young and old alike, you know. It's like they say, they're comparing it to the major tragedy at Humboldt.
Even with the emotions of yesterday's tragedy so raw, people in Dauphin can't help but compare it with that 2018 crash in Saskatchewan that is seared into the memories of so many people. Both involved a bus and a tractor trailer, and both utterly devastated entire communities. As Julia Wong shows us tonight, some who experienced that incredible loss in Humboldt are reaching out to help Dauphin through this.
We can tell which butterfly represents Evan because it has the 4 gold dots on it.
The deadly crash in Manitoba brings back difficult memories for Scott Thomas.
I was driving, heard about on the radio, and I pulled over to the side of the road. And anytime we hear the word semi involved in a mass casualty incident now, it takes our breath away.
Thomas's 18-year-old son Evan was one of 16 people killed in 2018 when the Humboldt Broncos junior hockey team's bus collided with a tractor trailer.
The first thing you're going to have to accept, unfortunately, is that your life will never be the same. The person that you were yesterday is gone. You're going to have to find a new way to exist.
Michael Behill was a Humboldt city councillor at the time. Now mayor, Behill jumped into action to see how his city can help.
Our fire chief was in contact with the fire chief of Dauphin to discuss triage measures.
2 cities now bonded by shared tragedy.
It's not a tie that anybody ever wants to have. Our phone is on 24 hours a day to make sure that they have all the support that they can get or need.
The former president of the Broncos warns the effects of this crash will linger.
The first responders and the others who have had to even afterward kind of remap what happened and that sort of thing, so many are going to be impacted significantly by this.
Ryan Strasnitsky was paralyzed in the Humboldt crash. He's offering his support to the families in Dauphin.
Things will get better. It's going to suck. It's going to be a long process, but just know that in the end, things will start to get better.
And from Scott Thomas, acknowledgement of the tough days to come.
Everybody wants answers now, and everybody wants this to make sense, but it's not gonna for a long time.
Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
You heard the mayor of Humboldt saying that his city wants to help in any way it can. After the break, we'll be joined by the mayor of Dauphin about what his city needs most right now in the face of this terrible tragedy. We're back from Dauphin, Manitoba, next. Manitoba RCMP say they have reviewed the dash cam video from the semi-truck involved in that deadly crash with a bus near Carberry, Manitoba, and they say it shows the truck driver did have the right of way. 15 people on the bus have died. Police have not yet been able to speak to the driver. We are in Dauphin, Manitoba tonight, where that bus trip began and where so many are now devastated and grieving. For them, it has been an unimaginable day and a half since that crash happened. Joanna Remiliotis takes us through the shock and scramble in the hours that follow.
The charred remains of the scene are horrific because of what you can imagine. This bus had been taking seniors to a casino. Instead, the excursion ended with a collision and mass casualties. At the first RCMP update Thursday evening, police were visibly shaken.
Within the last hour, we've been able to establish that 15 people have been confirmed deceased as a result of this collision. 10 people were transported to hospital with various injuries. To all those waiting, I can't imagine how difficult it is not knowing if the person you love the most will be making it home tonight.
Police were dispatched at 11:43 a.m. Thursday to the scene north of Carberry, roughly 170 kilometers west of Winnipeg. The bus carrying 25 people, mostly seniors from the town of Dauphin, was heading south on Highway 5 toward a casino near Carberry when it collided with a semi-trailer heading east on Highway 1. Police say the bus had already crossed the westbound lanes of Highway 1 and was crossing the eastbound lane when the semi-trailer struck the bus at the intersection of the two highways.
As of right now, the drivers are alive, being treated in hospital. As far as the vehicle pulling out or the right-of-way, I'm not going to answer that right now. I know that's an answer that people are looking for. That's a real critical point of the investigation.
There was a stop sign and a yield sign on Highway 5 at the intersection. And there are a lot of questions. Who is potentially at fault? Is there any video of the actual collision?
I don't know if there is video right now, but I know that's one of the key points the investigators will be searching for and looking for, because oftentimes video will tell the story about what happens.
All evidence is crucial, and police said may lead to criminal charges.
We need to be alive to the fact that there could be wrongdoing. And if so, there could be a criminal element to this investigation. We need to get everything right. It's critical.
Critical, too, to correctly identify all the victims before notifying family. One of the grim lessons learned from the 2016 Humboldt crash that killed 16 people, including 10 junior hockey players. The RCMP says investigators from the Humboldt crash are helping.
This incident does have echoes of the tragic collision that happened in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. We have already linked into the investigators in Saskatchewan who have firsthand experience.
The number of casualties triggered a code orange, an all-system response. Hours later, family members were still looking for answers.
I don't have any information except my mother is in HSC here. My father is unaccounted for, and so family is just basically waiting for word.
So she's here. How is she doing?
Not well.
By Friday morning, the scene had been cleared, leaving only skid marks and scorched earth. The Prime Minister sent his condolences.
To the folks who have lost loved ones, who are living through moments of tremendous anguish right now.
A family resource hub has been set up at a Dauphin community center. Most of the dead and the injured are from here. Sandra Coletta had considered going on the casino trip with her husband Glenn, who runs the local senior center.
Some of them I know quite well. In fact, one of the ladies that I play Scrabble with, I know was on that bus tour. So, and I have no idea how she is.
It's terrible. Yeah, I just broke down when I heard it.
10 patients remain in hospital Friday. Health officials say they range in age from early 60s to late 80s.
We have a total of 6 patients in critical care at the Health Sciences Center with severe injuries. A number have received operations and more operations are planned. But these injuries are quite significant.
While crews worked at the scene, late Friday afternoon, the RCMP also provided an update.
The 10 people injured in this collision have now been identified. This means that anyone else who was on this bus is presumed now to be deceased. However, the deceased have not been individually identified at this time. We are not assigning culpability or laying any blame at this time. We are merely stating the facts as we know them. We have obtained video footage of the collision that was seized from the semi-truck trailer. This video indicates that the bus entered the roadway where the semi-trailer truck had the right-of-way.
Police have spoken to the truck driver, but not to the bus driver, who remains in hospital. The investigation, they say, may take months. Joanna Rumiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, more than 24 hours of pain and crisis, and the mayor of Dauphin, David Boziak, has been trying to help the community cope. Describe for us what it's been like here.
It's been surreal the last couple of days. Just the outpouring of emotion from the community and from the people that have reached out across the country to us has been very, very helpful. So, there's no playbook for this. We're trying to cope as best we can, and with the tremendous staff at City Hall and our council and all the community agencies that stepped up, it's been as good as it can be in this terrible time.
So the mayor of Humboldt at the time when the crash happened, now a councillor, has spoken to you. What sort of help was he able to provide? Just
That lived experience where, like I said, we've never experienced something like this before, and they have, and what they learned through it, and sort of after the fact you can think about it and then provide us with the information that was very helpful. So they, like I said, they were in communication with us ongoing since yesterday, and again, we're still communicating with them and hope that will help us do what we need to do.
This is a relatively small community, just over 8,000 people. I assume you must have known some of the people or know some of the people who were on that bus.
Yes, for sure, and I've said many times today that there's likely most people in this community knew someone that was in that accident, and that's the hard part right now. And again, the delays, the RCMP were doing their best to provide factual and concrete information. That was a little bit troubling for some folks because they had the urge to know, but I think they did the best that they could do. We did what we could do, followed their advice, and from last night and today, I think it's gone as well as it could have.
You've been the mayor for 7 months?
Yep.
Wow, so a pretty big challenge as you lead this community, but you're also a member of the community, so I think it's fair, it makes sense to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm a little tired right now. It's been a long day, but there's just been such a tremendous outpouring of support, both from in the community and elsewhere. And the more that we receive messages from people far and near, it's helpful. And that's what I've heard from people today who have said the comments that they're getting, Facebook messages through email and phone calls has all been extremely helpful.
That's interesting to know because, people, there's an outpouring, so many people across the country touched by it. Interesting to know that those messages do make a difference. One last thing for people who are watching across the country, besides being thankful for the support you're receiving, what else should they know about Dauphin right now?
I think that we're a resilient community. We're the typical prairie community. We're pulling together. It's been tremendous to see the support, both from the official agencies, our ministerial association, and just people showing up and offering their help, and that's all comforting right now. We've got a long road to go here, and it's not going to be easy, but it's been made a little bit better today by that support, and we're looking forward to more of that as we deal with this.
Mayor, it's really nice meeting you, and even though it's under bad circumstances, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Coming up next, even as Nova Scotia faced devastating wildfires, not everything was lost.
Just figured we're going to lose her. We're going to lose it, but something happened. We didn't lose her.
Kayla Hounsel brings us the story of a close call and a historic cottage saved from the flames. At a time when so much has been lost to wildfires, tonight we have a story about something very precious that was saved, a Nova Scotia cottage built by a soldier returning from the Second World War. Kayla Hounsell traveled deep into the woods to meet the owners who are so grateful that air crews made a sudden call.
It's pretty remote, down a dirt road, across a lake, deep in the woods, just the way they like it. That is, until the woods caught on fire.
Going along here like this, you think back.
All that history almost lost.
That's how close it come, only 8 feet.
The fire was right there, and a dozen camps around them did burn.
I just figured we're going to lose her. We're going to lose it, but something happened. We didn't lose her.
But now we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's backtrack, way back to 1945.
My Uncle Hilton, he was overseas all during the war.
His uncle built this cottage for his war bride. Then in 1968, Scott, now 91, bought the place for, get this, $250.
This whole beach in the camp for that much money.
But to the family, its worth is literally written on the walls.
Like so many things, getting sunburned, playing in a tire tube, it's like spending the day in the water.
This is Stanley Scott pulling his daughter across the frozen lake. Today, they're pleased all those memories are carefully recorded from that first entry in 1968.
Sunny and warm, but lots of mosquitoes.
To 3 weeks ago.
Hit it out now. Evacuated.
Her kids listening to a scanner.
They had heard Long Sand Beach, Yellow Camp, Barrington Lake.
Mark Dion was the one they heard.
I'm the one that comes up with the crazy schemes on what we're going to do on a fire.
From his vantage point in a plane, he directs the air tanker pilots.
They're flying these planes with the precision of a surgeon, right?
Just as they were being ordered out of the air to avoid an oncoming storm, he directed them to drop their last load of fire retardant right here.
Well, I cried when I heard his voice.
April Scott used Facebook to track him down.
He said, well, I'm just doing my job. But heroes do that.
We update the logbook. A chopper looks for hotspots. And they leave, pledging to help their neighbors rebuild. Grateful their own piece of history remains just as they left it. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Barrington Lake, Nova Scotia.
Coming up, he's rolled up his sleeve to give more than 1,000 times.
I would say it's countless in terms of the number of lives he's been able to save.
And after more than 70 years of giving, one final donation in our moment. Ewan Stewart is a man who knows how to give back. He's been rolling up his sleeve to donate for over 70 years. Every Tuesday since weekly donations were introduced more than 2 decades ago. So tonight, as we deal with the tragic collision here, the number of people who were affected in Dauphin, Manitoba, we want to recognize a man whose contributions have likely saved countless lives. And his final donation is our moment.
I just donated my 1,162 donation.
We were here celebrating Ewan. He's decided to retire from donating plasma and from donating blood, so this was his last donation today. I would say it's countless in terms of the number of lives he's been able to save, certainly through donating blood and plasma for over 70 years.
How old were you when you first started?
18.
And how old are you today?
90.
He's been a fixture here at the Canadian Blood Services for I don't know how many years, but 1,162 donations speaks for itself. It's remarkable. There's no other way to put it. Yeah, we're very proud.
What would you say to other people who've never donated blood?
Well, I told them they should, because it's important.
When you think about all the lives that you helped save, how does that make you feel?
Wonderful.
It is wonderful, and it is nice, as I said at the beginning, to be able to finish the hour with a story of optimism and community. In this town of Dauphin, it is so reminiscent of what it was like when we first arrived in Humboldt. People so kind, but you do get the sense of the grief that envelops this place. And we will be back here, by the way, for Sunday night's National from Dauphin, Manitoba. That is the National for June 16th. I hope you join us on Sunday.